Welcome back. It's episode 48. In this episode, we are talking about spooky conspiracy theories for Halloween. And Katie and I are going to debate them and tell you which ones turned out to be true. Stay tuned.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm really, really excited for this episode.
Don't you just love Halloween?
I do. I love it. And you look so cute.
Thanks. I'm channeling my inner 90s doll alien for Halloween. I don't know what it is, but
I love it. I love it. And I love that I'm not the only one who gets to see it. I love that our audience can look at you now and hang out with us because drum roll, we're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube. So you get to see Katie's hair. Katie's red hair.
And my ridiculous expressions and the walls of our apartments where we record.
The sad blank walls that represent my sad blank office.
Oh, that's okay. You need a Tezza collage kit.
I know.
Like I've got. It's so fun, huh?
It's so fun.
Well, that's only one announcement. We have a second announcement, and that is that we've officially named our audience something other than our audience.
I know. I don't like that. It's too cold.
Yeah,
yes.
So cold.
I know. Okay, so for... Oh, sorry. I have an error message. Okay, I'm good. Our audience is going to be called... The Cocos.
Aw, cute.
So cute.
It's so cute. I love it. Yeah, so after much debate and many options that we hated, we finally landed on Cocos because it just sounded cute and it sounded easy and it sounded like gender neutral and anybody could be a Coco, especially if you want to be a Coco. If you hate the name, just let us know. Give us good ideas if you hate it. And if you love it, welcome to the Coco Club. Wait, that would be such cute merch. We have such good merch ideas. We just need an audience to sell merch to. So,
hey,
Cocos.
It's coming.
Welcome
to the Coco
excited.
Club.
Yes, we're excited to have a name and we're excited to be on YouTube and do a bunch of stuff because we are approaching our 1-year anniversary of having a podcast. We pretty much posted every week. There were a couple weeks that we had family emergencies or random things that popped up where we couldn't get an episode out. But I'm proud of us. We've made it almost a full year and we're going to do an anniversary episode coming up for you guys soon too. So lots of fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, should we jump into the lounge?
Let's jump into the lounge. This is me attempting to lounge in an upright position.
I can't even lounge. This hair is too big.
So, for real, I love it. Okay, well, tell us what your stories and fun updates are.
I made a new vision board. Perhaps you had triggered that. You were like, oh, so cute. What's your vision board? And I was like, oh my God, that's still April. So I did actually. Yeah.
Oh, on your phone.
I put it everywhere. Put it on my watch and all that. So I made a new vision board and I'm really excited. You can't really see it, but it's got
No, you're going to have to text it to me.
Well, it's got pinks and reds.
I can see the color.
Pinks and reds and greens, which is not the typical fall, but I wanted it to be my fall. So I'm really excited that I updated that. So it's just a fall vision. So we're good until December, I think.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe depends on when you like the holidays, but maybe end of November. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's
I don't know. I still haven't incorporated American Thanksgiving into my brain. I'm oh yeah, there's another holiday. But yeah, I guess that's there.
Oh yeah. No. Even Americans don't really, that's kind of what I was thinking. If you are excited for Christmas, then you would get ready in November anyways.
I do like Christmas. It's a good time.
So, yeah. Do you want to hear about the haunted house that I
do.
went to? For the second time, but
Tell
for
the
the Cocos the
Cocos.
first time. Oh my gosh, it was a blast. Okay, so I went to Reign of Terror, and it was like the cheapest haunted house in our vicinity, basically. It was only it was only $35. I think the second cheapest was $65. And Halloween Horror Nights at Universal is over $100. So I went with a cheap one, and I did not regret it at all. They did such a good job. The set design was amazing. The actors were amazing. Waiting in line wasn't even that bad to like get inside the haunted house. But let me tell you about my favorite rooms. Okay, so they had I think like 10 different scenes, I think they said. And one of the scenes was a clown like scene. And there was a bunch of different like little rooms within that scene. It was easily the scariest room or like scene. But there were some really, really spooky rooms that blew my mind. Like, they were crazy. Okay. There was this one room that was kind of like a strobe light room, basically. But I don't know what it was about the way that maybe it was strobing. My eyes would not work. I could not see anything. I couldn't see the walls next to me. I couldn't see the person in front of me. They kept like disappearing before my eyes, literally. And then they would be gone. And I was like, what the fuck? It was wild. And my friend Rebecca was like, put your hand to the wall. It's like right next to you. And it's like crazy how close the wall is to you. You don't even realize how small the room is. So that was one of the scary rooms. There was another scary room that is not for the claustrophobic, even a little bit. Like even I was in there and my claustrophobia was kicking in. I was like, dear God, this is the scariest situation I've ever been in a safe situation, right? Like probably second to skydiving if I ever went skydiving, like that kind of level of like, what the fuck, this is terrifying. I would.
Okay.
I would.
All right.
For the same reason of like why I would go to a haunted house, like for that kind of thrill. It's the ADHD talking. But I would just like best describe it as like a balloon room. And basically I would equate it to the scene of Don't Worry Darling that they show in all of the commercials where Florence is being pushed up to the window and her like face is being squished and like the wall is squishing her up to the window. That's what it's like to walk through this room. You cannot walk through it straight. You have to walk through it like sideways, like shuffling, because there's a balloon in front of you and a balloon behind you like pushing into each other. And there's just enough room for you to walk through, but only sideways. So I had like I was holding my friend's hand to like basically like not lose her. And she said, it's so funny hearing her describe it because she was like, when you went in, you were gone. I lost you. I was like, wait, because we were holding hands right before we went in. So I went in first. I was leading. And she was like, I lost you. You were gone. The only way that I knew you were still existing is because I was holding your hand. Otherwise, you were gone. I had no idea. We couldn't see each other. And I had my other hand sticking out the other direction because the person in front of me was already gone too. And I was like basically feeling for the exit because I was like, how long is this thing? It's a hallway of just a balloon. It's frightening. It was so scary. But then when you get out, you're like, whoa, that was awesome. Like the rush of adrenaline. The balloon room would get me. And then the other room in the clown area. Oh, it was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it. I thought it was ingenious because if you are in a haunted house to get scared, it's not just for the jump scares. It's for everything. Like it was scary. And that's exactly what it was there to do. But it was safe. It was controlled. It was monitored. Like there's no way somebody could actually die in there because yeah. And the last room that I will mention is basically a bridge through a digital screen, 360, like all the way around you. And it's like a vortex. It's spinning in a vortex. So if you're not holding onto the handrail, you literally like feel like you're flipping over. You feel like you're falling sideways. So that was really difficult to walk
like the
through.
One...
It wasn't so much scary as like visually
like it messes
crazy.
with you. I feel like that's a lot like the one at Universal where what is it, the studio tour where you end up in that one tunnel, like the ice tunnel. If you know, you know.
Yeah, I haven't done the Universal yet.
It's the same idea. It's very trippy. Yeah.
So trippy. Yeah. So the visual effects they did a phenomenal job on, and the actors were great and really kind. And there were points where like they had like clogs of people, like literally just like where you couldn't move, I guess, like standstills. And so they had to like the actors had to like improvise like what was going on to be like, this is why you're stuck in my area and I'm going to keep you here forever. And also there were some really cool animatronics. There were some frightening animatronics in there that were scarier than the actors at points. So really good, really fun. That's my very long-winded story fun update.
That's so wicked. Yeah, I did like Knott's Berry Farms.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Yeah,
it was great.
Well, not Scary Farms, but it doesn't sound like it was as scary as that.
Probably not because it's for kids,
Well,
right?
I'm just a kid then. I was still scared.
No, I mean, not to take away, but it's not like it's not called like Reign of Terror Haunted House.
No, it was like
we'll scare the shit
haunted
out of
pumpkin,
you. Like,
and I was like, oh my god, the pumpkin is haunted.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cute, ooh, scary. Yeah, like in a Disney way.
Maybe. I think it's a little more terrifying, but yeah.
I haven't gone, so I don't know. I'm just talking shit. I have no idea. Okay, well, anyways, let's move on to the sunshine medicine. Brighten our days from this spookiness.
Yeah. So my sunshine medicine is like a personal gain. It is, I am increasing my lifts. Yes, I am. Yeah.
Ooh.
I know.
Yes, ma'am. What did you go? Do you want to share?
Yeah. No, it's fine,
thing,
but I will be honest, like my PT keeps things written down and has like whatever he has. And so I don't have a full concept of what the weights are, but I know that I think I was doing like biceps, triceps. I think maybe it was 10. I increased to 15. I think my skull crushers were like 7 and they're at 8. And I was like, yes, because they're so hard. I could almost not even do them.
Nice. Those are hard.
And then end of last week, I lifted the 45-pound bar on an incline bench, and I was able to do it again with more ease. So we might be able to get weights on that tomorrow.
Ooh.
And I'm faster, and we're getting more in the hour. And like, it's just having like that positive feedback, you know, where you actually want to go and you actually want to do it yourself. And he was like, dang, your back is rippling. And I was like, no one has ever used the words rippling in my body. So I was so excited. So I just feel like a boost of confidence because my energy is up and like my muscles just feel more like alive. And this is like a totally new metric for me in terms of like physical wellness. So I feel like positive about that. Like,
I love that.
It's different. Yeah, it's a different
it's huge.
Like, game that we're playing now. And it's going well. So that's for me. That's my sunshine medicine. Yeah.
That's great. Oh, that's exciting.
Thanks.
I'm very excited
What about you?
Mine is not healthy.
Hey, it is a Halloween episode.
They brighten my day. Yeah, it's a candy too. Oh, speaking of candy, that's my little sound effect there. We're eating some candy off screen.
On screen?
Or
I'm going to be eating while you're talking.
Same. Yeah,
I've got some M&Ms because that's my absolute favorite in the world. It's from Canada. Yeah, that's that.
Nice. Anyways, so my sunshine medicine is, are these gummies called Vegobears, and they're just gummy bears. They're vegan gummy bears, that are honestly the most amazing flavor gummy bear I've ever had in my life. They are life-changing. I cannot explain how good they are. I'm addicted. And I found them at Erewhon, but I realized that they're not just an Erewhon product. Like, they sell at Walmart and they sell at like Target, I guess. I've never seen them.
Yeah, I think
you've seen them at Whole Foods.
Like
I've never seen them anywhere except for Erewhon.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. They're insanely good. Oh my gosh. And I buy like the big bag.
Oh my God.
With the zipper because I go back for them. They're amazing. I highly recommend. They have brought
So much joy.
so much sunshine.
Are they
to my
like super
life.
squishy?
Yeah. They are. Yeah. So I guess the ones that I like are called the Foamy gummy bears. And I don't know what they mean by foamy. I guess they're not
They
clear
white?
gummies. They're like,
Yeah.
they're opaque.
Oh.
No, they're colored, but it's like the color is natural. I think the flavors are like strawberry and raspberry. So they're freaking delicious. And they're made with real fruit juice and they're organic. And I think they're made here in Malibu.
Because they all have like regional names. Like the Malibu something. I thought there was like a Los Angeles one and a Santa Monica one. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, this one's just called the Foamy Gummy Bears. I don't know why. I was like, that's such a weird. I'm like, are they going for champagne? Like, what do they mean? And I was like, okay, they're like opaque. Maybe that's what they mean. I don't know. But they're so good. They're so good.
I'm rushing out to get those.
Anyways.
Maybe like I'll have them and be like super like
Yes.
super posh when the little kids come around and be like, here is your earwand gummy bear treat. Since we're in Venice.
Oh my God, cute. Oh. Ooh, yeah.
They expect a lot.
They go nuts.
Those kids, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to take away what
Sure.
you're looking forward to?
So a couple of friends were like, what can we do for October that's not just like Halloween? And I was like, well, I mean, Halloween is kind of the event. But one of them decided that they wanted to host a beer Olympics. So I think it's Saturday. Yeah, I think they're doing the beer Olympics on Saturday. And I think it's in the morning, which is kind of weird because it is like 3 different beer focused events. One is going to be just flip cup. One is going to be hold the stein full of beer out as long as you can hold it before dropping it. If you drop it, you have to drink as much as remains in your like stein after you drop it, which is going to be a lot. And then a donuts on a string, which I don't know how that's related to beer, but I was like, there's got to be something like cute that I have a chance at winning. So donuts on a string. So that's going to be fun. Yeah.
Cute. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
Mine's
Okay,
another
tell
product.
us.
I'm feeling product-y, I guess. I haven't gotten it yet, which is why I'm looking forward to it. So TBD on if I like it. But I gave in to the Arrae bloat capsules that I've heard about everywhere.
Bloat capsules? Like you just pop one when you're feeling kind of thick?
Yeah. 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 When you eat something that your body doesn't agree with, or you're going through PMS, or any, women bloat for literally so many different things. So if you're going through a bloat and you are feeling uncomfortable or gassy or whatever, you can pop some of those pills. So I got those, and then I also got ones for sleep. Also, I think I have a cat that's trying to do something out there.
Scritching.
I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm like, what is going on?
Well, just like cover it with like a lightning.
Sorry.
Like.
Yeah, right? Yeah, like, yeah. So I got their sleep ones because they're new. So I've heard such good things about the brand. So TBD, but I'm looking forward to getting those
Well, we know,
to try out.
Like in 2 weeks, maybe, like what the deal is. Cool.
I think they shipped, yeah. So probably next episode I'm in. Oh, also, because we're on YouTube now, I can show you. I have a Halloween earring on.
Oh, is it the
This
hand?
one. It's a hand, yeah.
Cute.
Anyways, yeah. Tell us what's hot then.
So I'm like being targeted excessively for the made to fade tattoos. So much so that it's convinced me it's probably pretty cool. I know that like as a person with tattoos, you had really good comments about that. But as a person without tattoos, I was like, that's pretty cool because my biggest fear is that I'm going to get something I don't like in like a year, right? So the main brand doing it is Ephemeral, and it looks pretty wicked. So they last 15 months roughly. And they look like pretty good quality, but I think he made a really good point about how they might just end up being like a weird shape or like ugly at that point. So I think that I'm really keen to maybe like interview someone who's got one, or like the founder, and be like, why did you do this? And like, how have people's experiences been? Because I'm really curious. Like, that seems perfect for a person with like anxiety and indecision, but also like someone who's artistic and really thinks it will look cool.
Yeah, yeah. I still have the same concerns. I feel like you could get a better experience by making a custom,
Ink box. Yeah.
temporary water
I know.
based one. Yeah, something like that.
Which I think I'll try first. But I'm still really keen on like, what is this made to fade? Like, it's just interesting.
I think it's a great idea. I just worry about like the 6 months that you have it and it just looks like a blob on your skin.
Yeah, I know. It's a
That's
good point.
all.
And people have also said,
Especially if you get something so
yeah, and
pretty.
there's just like a gap.
So
I
it would be
know.
such a shame.
Yeah, and people also said like they go a little bit deeper. So when they go deeper, it's more painful, and they do that so that like it's more bioactive, so the body actually will like attack the ink and remove it, which is such a cool concept. And maybe I'm just more interested in the concept, and it hasn't really been refined. So I'm more like interested in the theory of made to fade tattoo. But leave that with me. Maybe I'll get someone on from the company.
I do like that too. I think that's a great idea.
So what's your what's
I love
hot?
it. You want to hear mine?
Yes.
Yeah. I told you about it already, but I told you ahead of time because I was like, I'm going to tell
Yes,
everyone.
thank you.
And I wanted you to get an opportunity to put an order in
Yep.
before this sells out because this mascara is insane, okay? It's by Tower28. They are a clean beauty brand and they are sold at Sephora. And it is just like their like lengthening mascara. It is the best mascara I've ever used. Every time I put it on, I'm obsessed. I'm like, what the heck? This does everything that I've ever wanted a mascara to do. Everything. It doesn't smudge, doesn't fall under my eyes. When I like accidentally rub my eye, I'm not like raccoon eyes. It like just kind of like goes away. I'm like, I don't know where it goes. It like just disappeared. But like I don't have smudges. I didn't wake up with raccoon eyes when I accidentally fell asleep in it. Like, it's amazing. And it's not waterproof. It comes off your eyes really easily with like any makeup remover. And it stays all day and it lengthens, it lifts, it adds volume. If you are a mascara wearer, you are going to love it. I swear. Tower28. It is not an ad. I just love it.
Yeah, the pictures look
what's hot.
so good. I'm pretty thrilled about it too. So thank you for sharing with us.
Oh, more than happy. As I eat my candy. Okay, let's oh gosh, we did a really long intro again. Let's get into this spooky Halloween episode because it's going to be really fun. We're talking about conspiracies. But before we go over our episode goals, do you want to tell them something spooky, a spooky fact to transition?
Okay, breaking news. Just because y'all know that I have this fascination about true crime, we've been over it. It's maybe not healthy, but see one of the previous episodes. I'm sorry, I don't know which one. But basically, the breaking news is the Stockton serial killer has been caught. Perhaps a man has been detained that they think was out essentially hunting for another victim earlier this week. And for anyone who's not from LA, or maybe who is from LA, Stockton is like Northern California. California has historically been known for having a lot of serial killers, and we haven't really had one for a long time. Not that this should be like the way we think about it, but it's just quite like breaking news, really, that we've got another person who's out serial killing and they have potentially been caught. So they are a man in their mid 40s and they've already committed at least 6 like point blank shot murders. One woman has at least escaped as a almost victim. So it's quite scary.
Wow.
And I think
is
it's like,
news.
breaking
Yeah.
Halloween kind of news. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, put him in jail. Lock him up for
No, make a
for
long form podcast about it because I want to listen to it when I'm driving.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Okay, well, let's go over the episode goals because we're going to talk about a really fun topic this week. We're going to go all out on conspiracies and conspiracy theories, what they mean, why do we like them, are they real, have they ever been real? But these are the goals for the episode. We're going to share some ridiculous conspiracies and discuss whether or not we believe in them. And we're also going to be talking about the dark side of believing certain conspiracies. And we'll tell you which ones that maybe you should look out for. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to do a water break. And during this water break, for the YouTube watchers, we're just going to chill with you like they do on daytime TV. So water break and dance with us. And for the podcast listeners, enjoy our tune. All right. Hello. I think that was a dance break, water break.
Like a lounge.
Conspiracy theory, thought. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I was like trying to make something funny, but nothing came. So
okay.
Whatever. Hi.
So in this part, we're going to talk a little bit more about some conspiracies that we either like love to hate and know a bunch about, or we're just like, what? This is a conspiracy? And we're just going to like throw it back and forth. And then hopefully it will entertain you. And if you're engaged, we would love to hear from you. And then in the next part, we will get into the more like nitty gritty. So do you want to take it away with some conspiracies that you think are important today?
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll start off with one that many people know. But I am a firm believer in. And the only reason I'm a firm believer in it is because okay, let me just tell you what it is without giving too much suspense. The birds aren't real conspiracy. Now, I saw a TikTok the other day that was basically like the birds aren't real society put together like a protest in New York last week or something. And there was birds are real protesters. So it was like maybe in Central Park or something. And half the people there were like, birds aren't real with like signs. And then the other half are like, birds are real. Here's evidence. I find it hilarious. The reason why I am pro birds aren't real is because I hate birds. And I know certain people are going to hate that. I'm not an animal hater ever. In fact, birds are the only creatures that I have beef with. And they always chase me. They always poop on me. They just don't like my energy. And I don't know what the fuck I ever did to a bird.
Past life.
They're just mean. They're just mean. I don't like them. I don't like creatures that are just mean for nothing. Like, not even spiders are mean for nothing. Not even snakes. Maybe hornets, but I also hate hornets.
The conspiracy is like birds are not real?
No. Okay, so have you never heard this one? Okay. Let me finish chewing this piece of candy.
I'm sorry, what?
And I will tell you. So the theory is that birds are just spy cameras funded by the government to spy on us.
Okay.
That's how they know
All
everything.
right.
It's surveillance. And the reason why is because, like, have you ever seen a bird move? They're robotic. They're weird. They don't make sense. And they're just, like, conveniently everywhere. Especially in cities.
Everywhere.
They're always looking in your windows. Like, we don't trust birds.
Okay.
Birds aren't real. They're just robots. They're government spies. So that's one of them.
I love that.
Kick it off.
That's like the Black Mirror with.
And for the people who can't take a joke, obviously this is all a joke. The Birds Aren't Real Society is a joke. But this is one of the conspiracies that, like, people maybe like don't believe in so much more than they like to, like, participate in the trend of birds aren't real.
The trendy conspiracy.
It's a nice, fun, easy one.
I love that. That's so funny. That's like very Black Mirror-esque, you know? The one where they had like was it like the big
Yeah,
bees?
right?
Yeah. They were like robotic
I
bees.
don't remember. I remember the dog one.
Oh, that was horrifying.
Oh, there was like the robotic dog thing, the police thing.
No.
Yeah. The thing that we actually have, that our police force actually uses. Yeah. We live in Black Mirror.
I know.
Anyways. What are conspiracies that you've seen?
Starting with a couple light ones. The moon is a hologram? Okay. All right. Well, I can definitely attest to the fact that the moon looks significantly different in LA than it does in Victoria. So they be like keeping up with that hologram.
I mean, to be fair, you are on a different position of Earth, and where you are in position will kind of change.
So you're saying like
bit.
the hologram could look different.
I'm anti-hologram moon. I love the moon too much.
That has to
moon
be
is real.
The other one that I like was that the past, present, and future are all occurring.
It has to be. I like how you're like, it has to be real. Hold on. We got to back up. You're like,
I'm sorry. I was just like, there's no other debate here. Next thing. I have nothing else to say about that.
Anyways, I couldn't let that go.
Okay, go ahead. The fact that the past, present, and future could all be occurring at the same time.
That's not a conspiracy. That's reality.
I think that's a conspiracy. How are they all occurring at the same time?
Time does not exist in space. Well, because if time is a concept, then you can't ever say like when time occurs.
So
because so here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. Because if we are to look, we have a floating object in space that's able to look back in the past at past space. Okay? We are literally seeing in the past when we look in the sky.
Well,
but it is occurring to us in the present.
Time.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a concept. So it can occur at the same time. It literally is occurring at the same time. Because this is the reason why the people do not believe, why scientists, I should say, not just people, believe that we have not been contacted by any outside force or any outside being, because we are literally so far away that if people on other planets outside of our galaxy were to look at Earth, have a viewpoint of Earth, they would see dinosaurs right now. That is the past occurring for them at the present. So, boom, debunked. Sorry, hate to shit on your parade, but I am passionate about it.
It's very interesting. The way I see it is like, when someone says that, I'm just like, well, I don't see like people from the 20s walking around. That's just bullshit. So I guess if you look at it as the way that light moves and how long it takes for light to get to your eyes.
Yeah. It depends on your definition of time. I think that's where where the answer lies. So, do I believe that people from the 1920s are roaming Earth right now? No, no, I don't. I don't think we are that advanced. Not at all. We can't even figure out local politics. Like, no.
We can't.
So, sorry.
No, we cannot.
Okay. Do you want to hear one of my funny ones? Okay. I'm going to go in the same vein of animals, and I'm going to talk about the pandas aren't real conspiracy. Now, I'm going to pull some stuff out of my ass today because I don't have a reference for this. I've just seen TikToks, so maybe I should have done a little bit more back-end research on it, but I just thought it was funny. This conspiracy is that pandas are not real. And the reasoning is because historically pandas were only like documented maybe 100, 150 years ago. Like it hasn't been that long since we've had documentation of pandas, but China is so old and it has one of the oldest, longest written histories ever of any country, of any nation. So it's odd that we've never seen any history of a panda until more recent times, so to speak. That's kind of like the root. That's pretty much the only evidence they have. And they're also like, pandas are just weird. Like, that's the only other thing that backs it up is like, have you seen a panda? They're just weird. So I definitely don't believe in this one, but I think it's really funny.
So funny because
What do
I'm
you
just
think of
like,
it?
what? Was there like one book about pandas and someone lost it? Like,
I know, right?
Excuse
I
me?
know, classic. They're like, but China has a written history of everything. They wrote
like-
everything down.
oh
Like,
yeah,
they're so passionate. Like, you have to
there
watch
was
those
one book
TikToks.
and
It's
we
good.
lost it.
It's good. They're like, we
Yeah.
just didn't call them pandas. We just didn't give you a descriptor.
They were
like,
white
they were
bears
just bears
with black
Like,
stripe,
they probably didn't even.
big black stripe.
No, because there's no description either. That's the thing. There's nothing that describes a panda. So maybe they just like gave it a nickname that they agreed upon, and then they were like, "We're just gonna write
It
down
was
the
all
nickname,
like in some secret code.
and it's just gonna sound." His name is Joe.
There's
We're just
Joe.
calling him Joe. We're like, and then we hung out with Joe. There's Joe again, and that's like what they called like super. Like, we would never understand because we weren't there.
Well,
like
all I
that
know
kind of
about
thing.
pandas is they are so lazy that they won't reproduce. So there's like a place.
Oh, yes, that was the other thing. Okay, that was the other part of it is that they can only reproduce like one day out of the year. Like, there's one specific day or one short window. I don't know if it's one day or if it's 1 week, but it is an extremely short window in which the female panda is like fertile and pregnant, or like able to get pregnant.
My
throughout the
proposition
entire
is
year.
It's way too hot
And it just seems
to have
odd.
that coat. And they're just so lethargic.
Yeah.
Poor babies.
Yeah. So, yeah. I know. I love pandas. They're definitely real. But
I think it's
like
so
that
funny.
conspiracy. It's funny.
I saw one and it was very like typical like UFO, but the guy who was saying it was so engaged. I just had to write it down. So he was like, guys, we have only explored 5% of the world's oceans. Why? How come we haven't done more? Like, we have technologies, we have all this stuff that we could be doing to explore like what the earth is mostly made up of, but we haven't. So his proposition was that NASA had been exploring the world's oceans and found something that they were like, oh shit, like, no, no, we're not going
Ooh,
back.
I like this. I like that.
So,
Because that's my thing. I'm like, I don't know if they're
Yeah.
incapable. Like, because like there is a certain point where pressure is too much.
like on a machine.
Like, do we have the technology to bypass the pressure of the bottom of the ocean? That's the thing I don't know, because when I used to watch the Science Channel as a kid, that would always be a thing where they're like, this is the furthest we can go before our machine explodes.
be.
And then it was like pitch black. So that's my suspicion of like the logical reason why we can't. We just like physically cannot. And there are lots of areas that are too small for humans, and that there are lots of areas that are like crevices and things like that that are calculated in the unexplored, which is technically possible if you had a very, very tiny machine that is recording the whole thing for you. So I just don't know how it works. It's also probably really, 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 really expensive to develop specific technology like that. But I think that the idea of a creepy creature at the bottom of the ocean excites me.
I know.
So I'm kind of
And
keen
they
to
were
believe
like
it.
theorizing that there was like a UFO that was spotted like following the USS Omaha, like out on the coast of California. And it was
Oh.
they estimated it to be about 6 feet across. They picked it up on like heat sensing technologies, and it was following them for, I don't know if it was a half an hour or an hour. And then it just suddenly plunged into the Pacific. And they were like, ooh, is it like going to the mothership in the in the ocean? And then
Oh my God, creepy.
so they used radar to track like around their vicinity for the next 14 days. No, sorry, the next 3 days. And there were 14 more UFOs found in the same position. And they did the same thing. So what is that?
Whoa.
Are they going down under to something we
Creepy.
can't see and don't know?
I like this one.
I know, that one wigged me out.
Ooh, spooky house sounds. Ooh. Pew. Firecrackers. Anyways, that's creepy. I like that. Mine are not creepy. None of mine are creepy. So I really like that you added one like that. My next one is kind of interesting and weird. and I would love to do more research on it. This is the glitter conspiracy. So we are going through a global shortage of glitter. There is apparently shortage, and the company who manufactures and sells the most amount of glitter, who manufactures the most amount of glitter, will not say who they're selling their glitter to. And the New York Times apparently, allegedly, did like a mini investigation into it, and they tried to speak, to a manager there. And this manager was like, "Oh yeah, I know who we're selling the glitter to, but they don't want you to know what it is. And we don't know who they are, and we don't know what it is, like what they are turning the glitter into." So now there's all these theories of like, what is the glitter being used for?
What?
Because we're going through a shortage. It's being used. Okay, so this is a real one. That's the thing. So we don't actually know where the glitter is being used, who's buying it, where it's going, and why we're having a shortage right now. We don't know. And nobody's talking. Nobody's saying anything. So now everybody's speculating, what is the glitter being used for?
Where is the glitter going? Super creepy.
Kind of creepy,
but also
but weird.
Well, why glitter? Are they like using it to like paint the like
I don't know,
International Space Station and then like reflect like a big laser beam?
But see, that's the thing. That's too obvious. Why would they be hiding something like that? That seems too easy. It seems like something that's like in our food, or like something that we just is completely unknown that it even is resembling glitter. That seems more likely, because why otherwise why would you hide it?
Don't know.
Something to think
Is it
about.
like in the ground?
Anyways, take it away. What's your next one?
I'm like, where is it hiding? Apparently over here. My gut instinct is like, it's right here.
Right behind you.
Yeah, where is
you're
the
like,
glitter?
what is it? But anyways.
All right, that's creepy. So I threw in a classic because we are the Coconut Grove. I figured a good like LA classic, like old Hollywood needs to be discussed. So, quick recap on the Marilyn Monroe theory. So people like to debate whether Marilyn Monroe died from the barbiturate overdose, and if it was self-inflicted, or was it because of some kind of cover-up from the Kennedy family. And I think this one's really fascinating. It's also extremely tragic and very upsetting if you really dig into it, because obviously, like, Marilyn Monroe was such a good-natured person and just really wanted to like advance her career. She was a strong female lead in so many things at that time, really taking off, which is why I think a lot of people don't want to like believe or like debate that the self-inflicted nature of her death was not the case. So they kind of theorized that it was like an addiction to pills, poor mental health, and so she unfortunately took her own life. But people that knew her well said she was in high spirits. Her career was up and up. Like, it doesn't add up. So there's a lot of other things that don't add up. There was no water glass in her room to demonstrate that she would have taken an overdose of medication. So, like, you cannot just, like, crunch down all those pills. Like, you're gonna need some water. There was no, like, discernible level of medication in her system, like in her stomach, I should say, on the autopsy that was done afterwards. So if she was killed by barbiturates, it wasn't from like taking them herself. And the detective who was first on the scene to her basically like being found suggested that she had maybe been injected. So that's why the autopsy didn't pick it up by like investigating the contents of her stomach, which is really sad to think. But perhaps it was a lethal injection by someone she trusted, like Eunice, her housekeeper, who conveniently reported the time of her death an hour incorrectly and then fled the country after like things were done and dusted. That's kind of freaky. So for those who don't know, basically Marilyn Monroe was involved with the Kennedy family. She was first like involved with having an affair with JFK, and of course JFK.
Those are all
this is
alleged,
all. Well, the whole
though.
thing is alleged.
That's yeah.
Conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, I just want to highlight, because if we're giving extra information, because I just want to be super sensitive with Marilyn Monroe right now because of the movie that's out, which is a complete fictionalization of her life. I just want to make sure that we're making it very clear what we're talking about conspiracy wise and what we're talking about like reality wise. So the Kennedys is also part of conspiracy. There is no proof, and whatever, that she actually even ever had an affair or relationship with him. So I just want to clear that up.
And the same thing goes
that's
for
still
the
part of
brother,
conspiracy.
which is Robert, which she apparently had an affair with as well. And so the whole thing is like linked to the Kennedy brothers and the fact that perhaps she was becoming involved with them, and that they basically tried to keep her silent and couldn't. So they like took her life. So I think that whole thing is freaking creepy. And if you don't know the story, you should definitely read into it. I don't know if the movie is a good portrayal of the events or not, but yeah.
Blonde? Definitely not.
I haven't seen it.
No, that's a complete
So
fictionalization.
I think,
No, it's based on a fictional book.
but I think
too.
this one's like real classic. Definitely.
Do you believe
I
or
have
do you not
no
believe?
idea what happened, to be quite honest. I really don't know what happened. It seems so sketchy both ways.
Yeah, I don't believe this one. Nah, I don't believe this one, because the Kennedys is, like, for me, super easy to debunk, because JFK was also more likely gay, and also Marilyn Monroe was also most likely asexual. So she was not a sexual person off camera, and she kind of played into the sexuality because she was very smart. But she was also on tons of interviews, personal lives, diaries. She didn't really have a sexual life, which is why she ended up getting divorced. So affairs just don't really play into like the character of who Marilyn is, like characteristic wise. And also she was deeply depressed. So I don't want to like be like, push that by. So she also lost a baby. That did happen, an ectopic pregnancy.
That's not a baby.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, she was pregnant and then didn't, like, that's what I mean. Like, she was expecting and then didn't have the baby. That's what I mean. So, it's pretty tragic. So I definitely don't believe that one. But you are right. It is a classic.
Had to be said.
Classic. I will, that's a good transition for mine, which is Kim Kardashian. And Kim loves to compare herself to Marilyn, so I'll just give her this one. So this conspiracy is that the GOP is preparing Kim Kardashian to be the first female president.
Wow.
And the backing to this is that they're like, oh, why is Kim getting so skinny? Why is she like looking more white? Like, because, Kim is notorious for kind of adopting Black culture and like making it hers. So she like got rid of her BBL. She's thinner. She looks like she's more aligned to the white person. She was dating Pete Davidson, like more like skinny punk boy versus like R&B Black artist, like that kind of thing. So she shifted her entire presence. And the reason that they think like, oh, Kim is going to be president is because they're literally cleaning her image, and they're making her like, they say that the only reason that the GOP would vote for a woman is if they're also attracted to her and that they know her from something else. So those are the reasons that back it. I definitely don't believe it, but it would blow my mind if that ended up being true. Like, it also wouldn't surprise me in some weird way, but I also don't believe it.
Can you imagine a world where Kim K was the
What do you
president?
think? Like, I try to. It's very weird. It feels alternate
It kind of
reality
seems
to me.
fine if we think about it. Because I'm like, I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger was like the whatever of California, and then we had Trump, which is in effect very similar to the qualifications of Kim K.
Yeah, and
I'm
Reagan was an
I think
actor.
it could fit.
Yeah, like it's not like celebrities haven't been involved.
I could see it. I've
Yeah,
seen worse.
yeah. So, do you have another one?
This one is just kind of like ridiculous because of like the fan cult following of it. And like I knew about it like before, but I just think it's funny to bring it up. It's a Michael Jackson conspiracy. Like, is Michael Jackson still alive? And people are just like so on it. Like, people are just like, no, like he's definitely still alive. Like, here's why. And it's hilarious. Like, people provided so many pieces of evidence and like little videos too. I was like cracking up. Like one of the videos was the guy was saying like Michael Jackson went from this hospital to this like ambulance, then was airlifted out and was obviously still moving under the sheets. And there's like a video of like sheets and there's like no movement. And I'm like, well, if that is him, like he is not moving. And then there's like one where they're like, look, a man was taken out of this ambulance with a bag over his head and he's walking through the door. I'm like, I think that's just the ambulance driver wearing a jacket. Like, I don't think it's Michael Jackson, actually. And then, like...
That's hilarious. People love a good, like, celebrity who died but didn't die story.
I know. That's why I picked
favorite.
this one. Because I was like, it is so, like, it's everywhere. And I had to just, like... I just had to laugh. The whole, like, his casket is in a cement box. He attended his own funeral and they had photos. Gosh. I'm like, that's Photoshop. And, the latest one that happened in 2016 was apparently he was in the background of his daughter's selfie. Specifically a car selfie. I was like, his head would be a lot bigger if he was in the backseat and like 3.5 feet away from her. Like, that's a very small head to be. Like, the ratio.
I have to look into this one. I'm fascinated. Wrong. I don't think I've heard that one. Well, I've heard it, but
I was like, this is just
wow, that's hilarious.
Beyond.
Yeah.
So like those were mine. Those are the ones that I was like really fascinated with. Little wacky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have two more, but they're short. Yeah. Okay, so I'll start with, since we're on the topic of celebrities, I'll start with this one because it's very short and it's also kind of mean. So I don't want to give it too much airtime. The conspiracy is that Lea Michele cannot read. If you know Lea Michele or don't know Lea Michele, she is the head of Glee, or like, you know, she plays Rachel Berry in Glee. And she is the same on screen as she is off screen. Anyways, it started out as a joke on the internet because she kind of has this like pretentious energy where she like just doesn't look at things and like, I don't know, she just doesn't like I don't know. It started out as a joke, but then it kind of kept feeding itself because every clip that somebody would find of an interview with her or like a scene from Glee or something would kind of like play into the joke of that she can't read, where she would look at something and be like, oh my gosh, like, say it out loud, like, you read it, like, that kind of thing, where it's like, why didn't she just read it? And, like, just, like, misspeaking things, and the theory is that she's just memorized everything, like, somebody's reading these things to her, and she's really good at memorization, so it's kind of a mean one, but it's definitely a big one on the internet, so I had to bring it up. Whether or not I believe it, it's kind of hard to tell because sometimes the supporting evidence that people bring up, they're like, "What is this clip? Why did she do that? If she could read, why couldn't she just say it?" And the thing is, like, she commented, she's like, "I don't know why people don't think I can read. I knew all my lines for Glee," and then people were like, "Okay, yeah, we know you knew your lines, but could you read your lines? Could you read them?" So people are kind of upset that she couldn't play, like she took herself too seriously. I think that's the issue people have with Lea Michele, is she's always too serious. And they kind of wish that her comment could have played into the joke of like that she can't read, because like if she did that, then it's like, yeah, of course she can read, but she's just going to let the internet have the internet thing. So maybe one day she'll think it's funny and participate, because I think at that then maybe it won't be a conspiracy anymore and people will just let it go.
Until then, she's pretty much fanning the flame.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last one is that Mattress Firm doesn't sell mattresses, that they are just a money laundering business. And the supporting evidence for this is that, have you ever seen a Mattress Firm and noticed how the other Mattress Firm is like right across the street or like blocks down the street? And when you start to search Mattress Firm, they're all within blocks of each other. And that seems really fishy.
I wonder why.
So that is my last
why would they
fun
do
conspiracy.
that? Like, what's the point? But I guess if you said that, you could say, like, Starbucks is also money laundering because they're on every corner.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I don't really have too much supporting evidence for that one, but I thought it was funny. Yeah. Shall we go on to the last part and talk about some, like, kind of even more creepiness to it, like the real story behind conspiracies? All right, let's do dance break. Yeah. Oh, wait. How's your Mars bar? Have you tried it yet?
I didn't try it. Would you like to watch me try it?
Try your Mars bar. I've been like chowing down on my M&Ms.
Here we go.
All right, you guys. We are on the last part of this episode while Ashley eats her candy. We're going to talk about the real story of conspiracies. Kicking off with a little thought experiment. Why do people believe in conspiracy theories? Ashley did a little bit of research on that. So once you're done chewing, do you want to tell us about why we believe in conspiracies?
Caramel. Okay.
Caramelly goodness.
So,
do you want me to take my part first?
Because I think yours is more of like fundamental. This is more of like a little intro.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that there's a lot of psychology behind why people believe in conspiracy theories, and I think like we could do a whole podcast on it, but just some basics. So it's kind of driven by a few key things. They say that it's really a need for understanding and consistency, which I'm going to get the word wrong, but epistemic, is that the word? Yeah, you're mouthing that to me, and I think that's what you said. So it's just like...
Sorry, I don't know why my mic wouldn't turn on.
Epistemic
is what I think it is, but I also might be wrong.
I think that just means like how you... I think that it's like a concept in psychology, like the schema, like how you see yourself in the world you live in. Like it's a need for understanding like how things fit together. So it's that uncomfortableness. Then it's also a need for control, which is more of the existential thing of like, where are you in the world? Like, where do you exist in space? And then a need for belonging and feeling important or special, which is more of like that social drive to feel like safe and comfortable. So maybe you could draw like a triangle of like, what is it? And like, where do you exist in the whole thing? And like, can you feel important in it? Like, I don't know. It's a little hard to conceptualize, and maybe if I had more psychology.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. It makes sense.
And I think like, as we saw with COVID, which I don't think we'll get into, that was a big conspiracy generator, right? Because it was such a unbelievable, large scale, like mass event that impacted so many people. And it really created that mundane everyday where the brain is grasping at straws and wants to find something to latch onto and understand things and get some control in a controlless situation and feel that social connection. So it like flourished when those three variables were like really ripe for misfortune. I don't know. So people, I think at the heart of it all, just don't like uncertainty. People want to feel like they get it. So if there's an easier way to understand it and like get over that uncertainty, the brain is going to take it because the brain does not want to feel uncomfortable.
No, that makes sense. And it kind of like almost plays into the same research we did
Totally.
in the true crime episode of just like, why do people do this? And it all kind of like boils down to like just basic human instinct in some way, shape, or
so
form.
if you've been like, I don't know, foiled by a conspiracy before, like that's only human nature.
Yeah, and also there are some conspiracies that have turned out to be true. I did come up with a few. Is now a good time to go through them? Okay, so we're going to start with Prohibition. So during Prohibition, the conspiracy was that the government was poisoning alcohol to keep people from drinking. And that actually turned out to be true. So manufacturers of industrial alcohol had been mixing their product with dangerous chemicals for a year prior to Prohibition. But between the years 1926 and 1933, the federal government had pushed manufacturers to use stronger poisons to discourage bootleggers from turning alcohol into moonshine. But that didn't stop the bootleggers, and unfortunately, over 10,000 Americans had been killed by tainted booze. Oof. So
I did not
that
know
was
that.
true and crazy. Me neither. I didn't know any of these, so it'll be fun for both of us. This next one was that the Dalai Lama is a CIA agent. So this turned out to be kind of true. According to declassified intelligence documents, he earned $180,000 in connection with the CIA's funding of the Tibetan resistance to the tune of $1.7 million per year.
So like, what does that even mean?
Okay, and this last one, it means that, so if they're paid by the CIA, technically, you know, if they have a force, the Tibetan resistance, paid by the CIA, that's CIA agent.
So he's like CIA on a technicality.
In some way. We don't know. I mean, okay, they're from declassified documents. So at some point it was classified information.
That's pretty
Think
creepy.
about that. Okay, this last one is the conspiracy was that the FBI was spying on former Beatle John Lennon. This also turned out to be true. Like many counterculture heroes, Lennon was considered a threat. Anti-war songs like Give Peace a Chance didn't exactly endear former Beatle John Lennon to the Nixon administration. NPR reported this in 2010. In 1971, the FBI put Lennon under surveillance, and the Immigration Naturalization Services tried to deport him 1 year later.
I can totally see that.
Oh, so. Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. So those are some that turned out to be true. Do you have anything else before I get to the seriousness?
No, I think we're ready for the seriousness. I was getting there. I want to know, where does this come from?
Okay, so let's get really serious and talk about how conspiracy theories can unknowingly be very dangerous. And you might believe in some conspiracies that are anti-Semitic. All right, so there is this pyramid that was created by, I honestly don't have this creator right in front of me, but I will link all of their information in the show notes. Basically, this creator made a pyramid of the scale of where you would fall on conspiracies. At the bottom is grounded in reality. So these are conspiracies that actually happened, like hashtag Free Britney and Watergate. Those things are at the very bottom of the pyramid, okay? Then you move up to the speculation line, things like UFOs and Area 51 that could be real, but you're also entering like unknown territory. And then you enter the leaving reality section. This contains things like Michael Jackson is still alive, the Titanic never sank, and Avril Lavigne was replaced. So you're starting to be like, nobody moved in that video underneath that blanket. Like, you're entering that territory. Okay? So after that, we enter reality denial. And this gives us examples like vaccines have microchips, the moon landing was fake, and global warming is a hoax. So you're starting to enter conservative conspiracy territory. Okay? And then after that, we enter, this is the very top of the pyramid, we enter the anti-Semitic point of no return. This gives us examples like flat earth, deep state, lizard people, trans agenda, and Sandy Hook was fake. And this is also categorized as a world ruled by a supreme and shallow a supreme and shadow elite, and it promotes hatred and violence towards marginalized groups. And most of those are grounded in anti-Semitism and white supremacy. And the creator of this pyramid explains that the messaging from the bottom to the top switches away from classic denial and towards distraction and delay. You're seeing more of, this is an attempt to install a new world order kind of stuff. Creepy, and makes you really be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't believe everything I read on the internet, and to a point where, like, you do not want to be anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Like, think about, the lizard people is one that I've heard. That was the first one that I was, like, told is a anti-Semitic joke or
can you
conspiracy.
explain, like, how does that work?
And it makes sense once you start to think about it.
So, like,
which part? Like, where the lizard people came?
Just, like, specifically, what does that have to do with Jewish people?
It boils down to white supremacy. Because when you look at Nazis, they were eradicating Jewish people for the creation, for the perfect... It wasn't exclusively Jewish people. We know this. But it was to create a clean race. When you look at neo-Nazis, it's anti-Semitic still. When we look at what Kanye West tweeted, that it ends up being, I mean, he was literally anti-Semitic, but also some of the other conspiracies he's believed fall in line with that. So basically, it's once you've started to believe conspiracies like this, you're eventually going to end up a neo-Nazi because you're falling down such a far rabbit hole that you have alienated yourself and other people, especially marginalized groups.
All right. So it's more of like a...
So that's kind of the interesting part. We'll link
like
it.
a metric. A metric for, like, the conspiracy route.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they call it the anti-Semitic point of no return. So it's like once you're believing that there is a trans agenda, and once you're believing Sandy Hook was fake, that's all conservative propaganda. All of those are conservative propaganda, and all of those are rooted in white supremacy. And where does white supremacy leave us?
Yeah. Oh.
So.
Oh my God.
Rough. So thankfully, I think birds probably fall into the speculation line or the leaving reality line. So I think I'm safe. But yeah, it makes you think.
Where's mine? My Marilyn. Where does that fall into line?
You're also leaving reality. That's definitely a leaving reality one. Yeah. That's when all the celebrity ones I would assume are there. But we'll link this for you guys. All the Cocos can go check it out in our description. Yes. And yeah, that's our conspiracy
I couldn't think
episode.
Of anything more terrifying on a Halloween episode.
I know. Ooh. All right. That was cool. Really, really, really fun.
A new edge.
And what a perfect way to kick off our first
Yeah, I hope everyone liked it.
Amazing. It's so good.
Yeah.
I hope
we can.
I would if I was listening to this.
We can
for the
vote
first time.
on like which Tezza box I should put up on my wall. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We can have a live vote.
I would love that. I would love that.
We have a new thing to tell our Cocos. Hey.
Which part?
The phone.
Oh, yes. I forgot that was a thing. Okay, so before you go, we would like to invite you to reach out to us. Call us, leave us a voice message. If you have something that you want to say to us, if you have a question that you want to ask us that you would like us to answer on the show, if you're dying for Ashley to speak more on a certain topic, if you need to know if I still love the mascara I'm using, whatever your questions or comments, we want to give you an opportunity to leave them for us.
Too big.
On more than just like reaching out to Instagram. Yeah, nothing's too big or too small. Agreed. So Ashley, give them our new number.
So we tried to get one that could be catchy, but so. 323-643-5755. I'll say it again. 323-643-5755. And we'll put it in the show notes.
Leave us a message. We would love it. Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening into the Coconut Grove podcast.
I'm Ashley.
Katie. You can follow us at Katie Dessen, at Ashley Hansen, and at Coconut Grove Pod on Instagram and TikTok.
And YouTube.
Thank you guys so much for listening. And and YouTube again.
And YouTube.
Man, I got tripped up on my spiel because we got a YouTube now. Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next week.